Great morning, everyone, and hopefully you have having a crazy week, an amazing week, crazy but crazy good. And as you may already have seen, we have a special guest today. Let's welcome the one and only Alex Alberto. What is up, brother? Long time no see. How has it been? Let me know how's your day going, how is your week, and how is your portfolio?
The portfolio is great, man. Good to see you. Thanks for the invite. You reached out the other day. And of course, I'm always here to help out the Prime group here. All the alumni always here and available to try and help with the TA. The TA has been going great. It's been a little bit of a sideways action after that dump on Bitcoin, but you know what? It's a nice cool off area, and it's great for us to possibly DCA for lower prices.
Nice. I love that idea because that's exactly what I'm doing. And I'm hoping to get a little bit of a better price on Bitcoin to start jumping in a little bit more heavily. At this point, as we have discussed previously on the Piper Academy, I'm somewhere around 70% in on what I would love to be completely in. So I'm only going to be up to 90% and just leaving that 10% out just in case we got a black swan. I still have some dry powder to jump on that. So let me know, what are you looking on Bitcoin and what is the projected price for the bears that you have on mine?
Okay, so we're gonna jump over to my chart now.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Of where we're gonna go, of what we want to see, how low for the bears. Well,
Yeah, let's see how low for the...
well, it's interesting enough, but we know that we have massive support around 32,000. We know that for sure. So that's like, if we get the black swan and it like really dumps, I mean, 32,000 is going to be your main level of support. Even here on I have like a long-term chart where we're tracking when the ETF's arriving here in my community, where we're looking for this to come up to this ETF and have that push, right? And we've had a bit of a cool down, but for us, mostly we're looking for around this 37.5 area. If we are to lose the 37.5 area, that would mean to me a change of market structure. So we have seen this massive push up, but if we do get below here, we could be looking for something like that where it continues down. But we know we have this massive support around 32,000. So that's going to be our make or break level. But for now, this is just massive bullish power, right? So we want to be patient, which is the hardest thing, is to be patient. But right now what we're looking at is a continuation, right? We can see that we're getting this massive, even on the weekly here, we can see that if we push back here with this weekly candle, we could get a nice, beautiful hammer candle, and that could mean continuation for us. You can see we already have quite a bit of a wick here pushing us back up. So if we do continue to push this candle back up, that would mean bullish continuation, in my opinion. So that's something we're looking at. And then our targets are 47.5 up ahead, and then the psychological 50,000 mark. And that's just a very simple following of the Fibonacci golden pocket that we're so aware of here. If we pull a swing high to swing low here, we have that golden pocket sitting right around there. And it was also the same kind of confluence within the last cycle. So we can see we had that same confluence within the last cycle where it popped up, it consolidated, we got the black swan event, and then off to the races we went. So we do think the cycle is different, though. We do think this cycle is very different. We have the ETF, and look at the year ahead. We have rate cuts, we have the Bitcoin halving, we have the ETH ETFs, and we have the election. And this is typically where your cycle top is. So we do have quite a bit of time before we get over there. You know, if this is a weekly, that's almost 100 weeks to the cycle top. And if anyone wants to do the math, they're welcome to do the math. However, that's around February 2026. So end of the year 2025, we're looking for that massive push. So we do have a lot of time right now. So that's what we're generally looking at within this local area, though. We're looking to continue our way upwards here and march on upwards. There's some key trend lines we're watching here, but that's kind of what we're thinking right now. So we're watching the weekly candle. We want to see the continuation. We want to come up and try to hit these highs around 47.5 to 50,000.
Nice. So my prediction is how low could it go? It's zero.
Anything at the
I mean,
ball.
of course, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I mean, I was cooking that bad joke for a little while. I just needed to try out there. But yeah, I mean, it's very interesting, that trend line that you had going on there. Let me pull up my charts in here because I want to bring up something interesting. Guys, if you're using ChartPrime, make sure that you are on daily for you to have these same results, and go over your Market Dynamics Pro and then just scroll down a little bit here and then go to trend line and go on big. All right. So what was your entry point on that trend line? For us, how far low could we be going?
So for this trend line here, this one coming up here.
Yeah.
So this one coming up here, as a community, we were looking for actually this box down here, and it failed to get into this box. Now this box, a box is nice, but with Confluence, it's even better. We didn't get there, and we didn't have the swing failure pattern that we're like, I know you stress so much about the retest, right? So we come back down here and we want to get the retest, right? Or the swing failure pattern where we can see a possible, if this was to continue upwards, a bullish divergence here on this oscillator, right? So we're looking for that continuation pattern. That's typically what we're always looking for as a community. And why we had this box selected, well, it's simply, for me, if we pull a fib from swing low to swing high, right? We get this area, right? Beautiful golden pocket, 786 retracement. And then what's the confluence with this? Well, for me, the confluence is the CME gap. So we have the CME gap here on the futures that we haven't filled yet. So this is interesting because what has happened is that it's teased us, right? So it's come down and typically it hunts this out and then it flies upwards, right? But it did the same thing here, right? It did the same thing here. We had a CME gap here. It came pushed up through the weekend. It came back. It teased us. And what happened after that?
Yeah,
right.
It's starting to look like OC, like a bad joke.
Exactly, right? So it's like, fool me once, fool me twice, right? Like, we're getting a bit of a push today, right? So is it pulling our chain? We are looking at that trend line, but we are aware of, this descending triangle breakout that we're looking for, the retest and then the push up again, right? So those are kind of what we're looking at there. And for this trend line, this is just a very simple continuation trend line off the bottoms of the lows here that match up quite nicely with this continuation here. And then we have this beautiful one down here, which is that triangle breakout that we're watching right now. And it looks like we're getting quite a nice push here on Bitcoin. We're all the way up at 42,200. So we want to see us get above. We want to see us get above into this 43,000, 44,000. So this is my area for the rejection. So if we do get an ABC correction, it would be something like this, where we're looking for price to go ABC and back down, fill up this gap, and then continue this massive uptrend, right? So if this is an ABC correction, it would be something like that. However, this could be just simply, I think we were looking at a 5-wave structure here of like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a continuation 5. So we could still see this continuation upwards.
Nice. So it seems like we have a little bit of a low quality on the stream. I already bumped it up to 1440. So if you might be able to give us the price points that you're looking at just for the community to keep a track on smaller numbers.
So for the smaller numbers, where we're looking to trade now, the long setups, we were looking to take longs this morning. We gave the ETH trade setup this morning. I'm still in this trade right now from down below here, the swing failure pattern this morning. So for me, if you want to jump into something like this on Bitcoin, we're looking for it to come and return to the scene of the crime. So that scene of the crime is very simply either the retest of this uptrend that we're currently in right now. Now, remember, Jerome Powell, FOMC, is coming out today at 2 o'clock. So you only have, I wouldn't jump into any trade until after Jerome speaks at 2 o'clock. Remember, news can move the markets as well. A lot of people are anticipating this FOMC. So we're expecting the curl up here. We look for the retest of this downtrend and then the pop off here. So that would be your immediate trade where you're looking for a long, possibly down here. And that's just simply...
Oh, all right. But I meant that when you say this zone, could you just say it, for example, between the zone of the 41, 43,000, 33,000, like because it seems like the smaller numbers on the screen,
Okay.
seems to be a little bit, a little bit
Well,
small.
I'll put the
just
price
to
targets
compensate.
on it for sure so you guys can all see. So here you go.
Thanks. Awesome.
There we go.
So all right. So you are looking at somewhere around 41,300 to re-enter. I love that. But also, I would like to go back into my charts because on the previous one that you showed, I believe that, and please correct me if I'm wrong, you were looking also where that equilibrium zone is at, somewhere around 34,800 or somewhere around the 35,000 zone as per how low we could be retracing in case of a catastrophic failure on that retracement, which is not out of the round of the possibility. Is that correct? Or did I read those numbers incorrectly?
So which area are you looking for here?
Oh, I do believe that your trend line, I believe on daily, on weekly, was somewhere around 34K.
Yes. Yeah.
Perfect.
So that's if we
All
have
right.
that big retrace down. Yeah.
Yes, perfect. I wanted to touch back on that because that's exactly where we have that confluence on the dynamic reactor coming in. We have the equilibrium zone. And very, very importantly, we have the trend line. So guys, I was showing you my configuration on my trend lines, which is very simple. Daily, just as is. And here we go. It should be right here on trend lines big. So you will have that trend line adding confluence on that equilibrium. So far on daily, guys, we are very strongly bullish so far, and we will not be changing from bullish to bearish unless, and I will dare to say, we break below the dynamic reactor. Why? Look at what we have here on the oscillator. Let me show you something interesting for especially the new members or the ones that are visiting us for the public session here. Let me show you that since we broke, let's see, when most of the action was happening, let's see, here, and then this was a ranging zone, let's call it here, and then again somewhere around here, and another one in here. I'm looking at my oscillator, all right? And then also another one in here. We can even go farther down to look for those areas, right? As the oscillator breaks above, and as the oscillator breaks below, all right? So my question for you guys, and let's focus on this one and then moving to the next one. Where is most of the rebound action happening based on the zero line? Is it above or below the zero line? So as you guys can see, yes, it is above the zero line. And look at what has happened to the price action, right? That doesn't mean that we could not be having those beautiful retraces. And why do I call them beautiful? Because that is giving you that opportunity to re-enter on that up ranging, so on that bullish pattern with a much better price and lower risk management. So again, guys, this is not financial advice. Just showing you guys what we have, what we see on the charts, and how we are trading it. All right, those are no financial advices, and also it is not calling for entries there. All right, now let's take a look at what has happened at this point. We broke below the zero line once again, and most of the action here was below. What happened to that price action? And I believe this is what we could be facing at this point, all right? Then we broke back above, and what happened to the price action? We broke back below. What happened to the price action? And so on and so forth. So let's make it right now. Let's clear this up. Here we go. So guys, where are we right now based on the oscillator? So are we above or are we below that oscillator? Hey, hola, Crypto Viking. What's up, brother? Yeah, so we are above, therefore giving us that possible momentum to the upside. Again, being above doesn't mean not having those retracements or those retracements, right? That means that we're still bullish, but we're looking into a retracement, which is fine until we start losing both the zero line on the oscillator and some key support that Alex of Crypto, the author, has already showed us, all right? So hopefully you guys took note on that. And also, guys, let us know if you want, right here, for us to go visit any cryptocurrency, metals, or also we could do Forex or any other asset that you would like us to take a look at. In the meantime, Alex, do you have something else on your radar that would like to show to us?
Absolutely. Always have stuff for you guys. So
Nice.
we're going to flip over to my chart here. Also, I wanted to point out, I've been using this 4-hour, I think the 4-hour dynamic reactor is like, it blows my mind sometimes. So you can see here, it's multiple areas of support here that has been respected. And just when you get that retrace, we got the yellow diamond, which is very rare, which I didn't have the cojones, okay, you can call it that, to jump into a short here. We did have the blow off top. However, you can see the dynamic reactor working its way up. And look, you also have fair value gaps here as well that match up with this area that we will be looking for that retrace if we do get it. We are getting a nice push here. And there is a big fair value gap here on the 4-hour that we can look to fill. And this is my short zone. So like, if we fail to get above here on Bitcoin at 43,000, between 43 and 44,000, if we fail to push up and get back within the small range here, I do believe we come lower, and that would coincide with filling up this gap here as well. So I really like how this fills up as it gets more price action in it. You can see the white box here. So as it gets closer and closer, it typically fills, and then you can see the retrace in following this trend line. So another thing that I am looking at though, so we've been looking at Ethereum for this push up. So there's a lot of things across the board that are getting the pushes. So we're looking at Ethereum to follow this beautiful trend line. Ethereum is lagging. So with a lot of these alts, if we just, let's go on the weekly, and what we're looking at here is that with these alts, is that everything else is, Bitcoin is trading up here. This is 26,000. So we are just finally getting out of this bearish consolidation zone. On most alts, we haven't had that push where we're back up trading within this area here. So if you're just comparing apples to apples, we should be up here with Ethereum. Same with ADA. You zoom out on ADA, same thing. We should be up here, okay? We're not up there. We're getting a massive push. We're breaking out of this bearish consolidation zone on ADA as well. Massive push up. We're coming up to key level of resistance at 64 cents, right? But if we push up, we should be trading within 75 cents to $1. That's where Bitcoin is right now, okay? Now, the most interesting, now my community's all over this right now, is if you go over to Avalanche, and you can see where we're at right now. If you push, even on KuCoin, when there's a little bit more data here, if you push Avalanche, there's a little bit more price action here on KuCoin. This is the Bybit chart. But if you push here and we break out here, there's nothing stopping us from going to $50. There's nothing. There's nothing in our way. It's pretty much straight shot. Okay? And that's a beautiful, beautiful 35% move. Okay? So we've been watching that. We know AVAX is massive for its gaming adoption right now. A lot of gaming, IMX, all these other altcoins are massive right now. So with crypto, I find it's great to jump on the narrative, right? If there's a community pushing it, if there's a narrative pushing it, Alex Becker, all these people talking about gaming coins, it's a new hype, right? So where do we jump on? We jump on the Solana train, we jump on Bonk, right? We jump on AVAX because of the gaming trend, right? So with all these, we follow the narratives, we look for the opportunities, and for me, I believe Avalanche will be a very, very good opportunity coming up. So if we can somehow find a good entry on AVAX and build some confluence there, then we can look to take some beautiful profits on the way up. I'm definitely looking at that for sure.
Nice. So I do have my theory on whether there's that happening. So when you start looking at how liquidity starts shifting around, and I did show that on the Piper Academy. By the way, guys, if you're not following Piper Academy, I do advise you to do so every morning, Monday to Friday. We are having there the news and also the very morning analysis. So I was talking about another YouTuber, an analyst, talking about how that money flows. And I think he made a very, very great work on making it simple. So usually when we start heading to the halving event, the most important coin becomes Bitcoin, right? So over all or over time, I believe Bitcoin is going to outperform every other coin. But for short-term scenarios, a couple of altcoins will absolutely demolish short-term gains on Bitcoin, and that is had to do with the volume and also the market capitalization that there is within the altcoins versus Bitcoin. All right, but here's where things start getting fun. When we start seeing early movements on Bitcoin and not yet going into the halving event, we usually can see a repetitive pattern of the altcoins starting to moving. So I believe that this is a major opportunity if you are start looking for laddering in. So no financial advice, but I am, in fact, for full transparency, laddering in these important coins and not thinking that we are right now on a full-fledged alt season. Why? Because as we have seen before, money goes from Tether or stable coins to exchanges, then exchanges to Bitcoin, then from Bitcoin leaves Bitcoin volume, and after the halving event and that huge movement, we start seeing now the alt season top 20 cryptocurrencies. And yeah, Major Brain, I have that one. We're going to be taking a look at that in a second. Alex also had it right here. But yeah, and then after we see that movement within the top 20, then we go into the meme coins and start rebuilding what that top 20 could be. And then after all, money leaves meme coins, go back to stable coins, and go back to Bitcoin for closing the cycle. So I believe that we're having what we could be calling a small altcoin season, but I believe that that could be truncated for the ETF of Bitcoin and also the halving event. So just be careful on that. And as you mentioned, I mean, start laddering in and getting some exposure could be playing out on your favor over time. But yeah, I mean, not financial advice. Yeah, it seems like you already have Pete on your screen. Would you like
so you
to
can see
that?
it is a little bit of a bottoming pattern here. You can see something similar over here. However, this is very, very choppy. I wouldn't, for me, it's just something I wouldn't trade. I'd be, if it's a buy, then great. If it's a trade, then be very cautious. You can see, like, whenever you see market structure with candles with tons of wicks, like everything has wicks here, right? It's very choppy. They're hunting, you're getting liquidated, you're getting chopped out, you're getting knocked out of your stop loss. So it's very hard to practice good risk management with something like this. However, you can see we're in a very clear downtrend and we're coming to that area where we bottomed so many times before. But like I said, like, be aware, because like you will get massively wicked out here if you're not careful. Always use a stop loss. But where we are right now, what we want to see is very simple. Very simple. So you keep it simple here. And so you can see we're having this beautiful downtrend. Okay, you want to see a higher high put in a break of structure. That's what you really want to see. And you can actually do this. I turn this on sometimes where I can turn on your break of structure here. You can turn that on and you will see you'll get some break of structures. And that simply is you put in this higher high here. You put in this simple higher high here. Look where the liquidity is, 30% ranking, right? So you put in your higher high here. I can see it naturally, but that would be your break of structure. And you come back down for the retest, right, OC? And then then that's your entry down here, right? That retest. And you can pull a fib, you can pull support and resistance, but you want to see this downtrend broken with a break of structure, and then you want to see a continuation upwards. That's how I would use that. And you can turn those on. You can turn those on. Like for me, I've traded for so long that I see them naturally. I don't need to turn them on. But if you're new, I suggest learning some break of structure, volume profiles, the order blocks, where they are, because they do get hunted out. It all works out. And if you learn how to trade those, it can definitely improve your trading game. But you can see you're very oversold here. You're getting bottoming signals where you're getting bullish divergence. However, with something like this, you want to be very cautious within trading something like that.
Perfect. Let's see that. Let me jump into, super on Tether. So it seems like it's not super micro. Let's do a super, and it's supposed, I think that
gaming coin, right? Very popular.
Perfect. Yeah, I confused it for a second there with a super micro. So let's jump into my charts in here, and let's take a look at what we get. So right here we have Super Gaming token. It seems like it's been demolishing, but it seems also that we have that bull flag maybe happening here. We need to be cautious of what happens. So as long as we are above the zero line, it means that we have that momentum to keep pushing upwards. So it seems like we are riding on that daily support. Let's jump into the 4 hour, and see what we get. So very nice pattern that we have going on there. Let's wait for that dynamic reactor to play out. And at this point, we are at the bottom in here. But let me show you something interesting that is happening at this point. As you can see, since we break below, we also break above and we also break below, which is giving me an equilibrium on that oscillator. So the point that I want to look for, it is the next resistance here, and see if I'm going to be breaking through. And if I do, that probably will be a breakthrough retest and we go. Or if I reject, most probable scenario is now that I'm going to be catching that next bigger resistance or support, So be careful on that one on the 4 hour. I'm going to be adding a couple of alerts here because I am interested on entering on Super here. Also, since we talked about a Super and I had Super Micro, we've been following Super Micro for a ton of time. So let me go back in watching Super Micro because you showed me something on your chart on that break of structure that could be a fake out, and just giving another, let's say, perspective in here. So let me Control Alt this one, and I'm very good at spotting this kind of movement. Look at this. So as you mentioned, we've been trading for a little while, and we already have that eye-catching couple of things playing out. So going down, lower range, V-shaped recovery, and the next high not higher than the previous one. So as you can see, was not there that break of structure. So we went down and started ranging because this is giving me 70% chances of a range based on the Wyckoff method. So far, we've been ranging, but the clock is ticking, and now it seems like we are compressing. So if you're looking at Super Micro, for me, and this is not financial advice, I'll be looking for somewhere around the 317, and for long entry in some shorts at this zone at the 219, not financial advice. And I'm going to be reassessing if I'm going to be entering that short or not. That depends whether I'm breaking the zero line to the upside, and then, or if I'm rejecting from that zero line to be taking a look at that. I have a back. We'll probably buy more on the retest. That could be not financial advice, but if you're looking to ladder in, remember that keep buying as we hit support or as we keep breaking supports. That could be a nice opportunity to be buy or purchasing for the long run. Just let me give you a friendly advice, not financial advice, but I only be buying on zones, and only if I break a threshold of time frame, that's when I reconsider buy in the same zone. So let's go to, I don't know, whatever. I just click here. What is it? Kava, right? Let's see. Let's do a quick analysis. So let's say that I leave Kava. I want to jump in Kava, and I'm looking at daily right now. All right. So let me give you an example. Okay, not financial advice. So I'm seeing that right now I am on big support. All right. So my entry point will be somewhere around here. All right. And then as I start seeing that keeps ranging, I will not be re-entering for the long run in here. I will be considering maybe trading the short-term ranging zone and preparing a hedge scenario for whatever that movement will go. But I will not be entering again on that zone until that moves, or until maybe a month or 2 months go by that maybe give me the heads up on a further move to the upside. So only after the time has gone by and I see it giving me that heads up, I'll reconsider to enter on the same zone. And this is a perfect example because look at that. We broke above the zero line here. What, guys, should we be looking at this, or what could we be expecting when we are above the zero line on the oscillator? What do we have learned that happens to the price action when we break above the zero line? Let me know. Pump, exactly, bullish. And do we have that bullish movement, or are we ranging? Yeah, so it's nulls. It is ranging. It's not moving up or down, right? So this is like a ticking bomb to me. The time is running out on Kava. Why? Because if I start seeing that I'm running out of space, because every bullish movement has its end, and I'm eventually going to be breaking below. If this thing does not break, retest, and off we go, I'm going to be having a very bad day until this next support, because the time is ticking and I'm going to be breaking down. So when I'm supposed to go up, I don't move. Well, when I'm supposed to go down, I believe that that's building up a little bit of that bearish trend. So, Alex, do you have maybe a take on this analysis, on this example?
I love the analysis because like I can see how, yes, you've gotten above the midline there. However, with the price action, I think price action is king. Like you can see how simple the trend is sideways. It's just ranging, right? So yes, bullish, bullish, bullish. However, what is the price telling you? I always tell my community to take a look, step back, look at it objectively. Okay, price has moved up, it's consolidated, it's come down. Now it's continuing to consolidate sideways. It's at key levels that are given to you. As you can see, all those yellow lines within your chart, it's consolidating within those yellow lines, and it's failing to get above. That means that we could be possibly looking to roll over, but until it is clearly defined with like a higher high or a higher low, you're not going to necessarily want to jump into a trade because you're putting yourself at too much risk.
Exactly. Another quick tip, guys, and I've been doing this on Wing, not financial advice. Don't jump in that just because I'm doing so, right? This is kind of like my little casino, so right? Yeah. It's like, all right, I'm looking for, yeah, so do I. So like, I'm looking for those coins that have some like massive wicks, either to the downside or massive wicks consistently to the upside, all right? So look at that, all right? So what I do is I try to buy as low as possible if I'm looking for the coin to wicking up, all right? And if I'm seeing the opposite, then I'll try to buy as high as I can for that coin to be wicking down and set some take profits level 1, level 2, and then level 3 will be trailing. That is for me, guys, not financial advice, all right? So look at how flat now Kava is, all right? So yes, it's daily, and this could be very significant, but if I'm looking for the long run, well, then look at what has happened here. So maybe I am expecting to enter within this same range, all right, to start maybe making one of those a casino purchasing, right? I mean, I might be already doing good on the trading arena, and I'm willing to try something different. Not financial advice. This is also for experienced traders. But guys, also let us know right now, what else should we be taking a look at? Do you have something else for us, Alex O Crypto?
Yeah, someone asked for VRA on the 4-hour MACD, so I just pulled that up. I was having a look at it, and for me right now, this looks, it's hard to read, right? You can see sort of like an Adam and Eve here that's coming up, right? You can see something like that. But for me right now, you can see it's just simply holding this support, and it's at a very key level here. So for me, look at the wick. It's something to be very cautious about. If you are looking for a reversal, I can see the bearish divergence here is what kind of turns me off of this. You can see here, bearish divergence showing up right here, falls down, and that's a hard fall. I mean, in comparison, Bitcoin got the fall, but it's not like so scammy, right? So for this, you can look for this to work its way back up. However, you do have quite a bit of volume to get to, right? You have quite a bit of volume right now. Value area low, looking to push through this point of control, and you can see the major spike in volume here. So until you flip this area here, which if my chart's not that visible, that one's there. Anything with more than 2 zeros, they tell my community I don't read it. So we look for that flip there to continuation upwards, where we can look for this to to continue up, right? We don't have too much volume holding us up. You can see if you get above here, you throw on your dynamic reactor, it has turned red. So you look for that dynamic reactor also to act as resistance as it trends downwards and price works its way upwards, right? And this comes down. You look for when they meet, and you could have a possible short opportunity depending on what your oscillators are saying at that moment in time. If this comes up to the midline here and gets a rejection and you get a continuation pattern where it's putting in lower lows, then you're looking for the short, right? So it depends on what the market gives you. Right now, I would stay out of this because it's looking to push back. However, it has gotten rocked to the downside quite aggressively. So be very patient with that for now. And I think someone said check INJ. So we can go over to INJ. Everybody in my community has been like INJ, INJ, INJ. So I've done quite a lot of TA on INJ. And we have areas where we're looking for a pullback. Today, we settled to a 23.5. So this 23.50 is our area where we're looking for the major pullback. But INJ has been absolutely ripping. And like just look where the dynamic reactor is, right? Like we can get closer here if we go on a shorter term time frame. If you want to build that confluence with the dynamic reactor, I always try to get it as close to the price as possible with confluence of being support and other things. So you can see support, right? So it's been acting as a good support on the 1 hour. So as this trickles up, we can look for the cool down on INJ. But INJ, it's the narrative that's really driving this. It's I believe it's a Cosmos Layer 1 gaming project. So I haven't done too much research in it. All I know is that you can see that trend line there. It's getting rejected, possibly a rejection downwards, but a lot of this is going to be dictated on the narrative and on Bitcoin and what it's doing. But you've gotten a strong buy signal. So what do we do after we get the strong buy signal? We wait for the retest, right? And then the continuation upwards. And you can simply, I like to look at fair value gap. So I'll pull that one up. You can see it's kind of filled. So maybe that's not your first entry. Maybe you look at volume here or Fibonacci. Let's pull a fib from the swing low to the swing high. And you can look for confluence within this area here. So somewhere down here, if you're looking for a retrace on this, I would just be looking within this area here. But you want to see this oscillator here down below. If you're using the other one, like OC just said, like if it pushes up here and it comes back to the 50, you look for continuation. As long as it's bouncing on this 50, like with what I've learned over the years of trading is with the RSI, any sort of oscillating indicator, this is the 50. The 50 is so important for uptrends. We're in a clearly defined uptrend. So when you're above the 50, you look for the pullback on up to the 50 and then the continuation upwards. And you can trade this all day long. If you look and you back test this on your prime oscillators, on any one of them, and you just look at the 50 and how it pulls back, I guarantee you can find beautiful trades. It works really well on the shorter term time frames. I'm more of an intraday trader, so I'm down, on the 30, the 15, the 7, where I'm looking for those pullbacks on the midterm. So for me, we're getting up back into the zone up here. You can see that. So we look for the retrace back into this area here. We make sure we have confirmations on our oscillator where we can look for confluence, right? And the more confluence we can build, the better off we are. So you can see here, even on the 30, we're getting the dynamic reactor coming perfectly up into that fib with confluence there. You can see we're breaking this uptrend structure. So this is looking strong and it's following that narrative of the gaming token. So you can draw a trend line here. You can see it's coming back and retesting that. Maybe we break this, retest, come down, and then continue our way upwards. For me right now, I'm being patient because I know that we're waiting for Jerome Powell to speak at 2 o'clock. So we'll get some more clearly defined information after 2 o'clock today. And then Thursdays are typical pump days, just so you guys all know. That's a little secret.
Oh, Alex, it seems like you have a question. Crypto Viking is asking, Alex, can you tell us a little why do you prefer the Trade Fusion over the Prime Oscillator?
Okay, well, for me, I was introduced. OC was nice enough, and I reached out to him, and he actually helped me understand this oscillator. And then I reached out to Piper as well, and I'm like, okay, so like I've been a market cipher guy for years, right? So I'm like market cipher, and I'm like, okay, I want to try something new. I see these guys. I know Piper. I believe in what they're doing. I know they're good traders. Let's learn something else. And I was looking at the ribbon twists and all that. And for me, this one mimics like the Trend Fusion. For me personally, mimics Market Cipher more. So it's more. I'm used to Market Cipher. So when I know money flow and stuff like that, I can see money flow on here as well, which is the dark blue line. So I can see that transition of money flow being oversold, coming back in. I've also added my own levels here. So I have a 50 and a 50 here. So the negative 50 and the 50. So that's my oversold, overbought area. Yes, they say to use these areas up here. But for me personally, this is like another little indicator that I use. It's a little trick I use. So I've gone through and I've back tested, and you can see, look, this is the 50 and it's holding. Then we cross over into the red. Look at the crossover here and look at the price action here. We drop down, right? So for me, I've added the 50 and the negative 50, and that gives me another set of confluence within this oscillator as well. So for me, it mimics Market Cipher. It's different. I love the crossovers. So if we draw verticals on the crossovers from red to green, right? I've back tested this as well, from red to green. And for me, it's beautiful the way it works. Look, crossover here, red to green. Look at that, man. Like boom on that candle, red to green. If you took that trade, you're laughing, right? Same with here. If you're getting a warning sign early here, then you get the yellow, tells you sell. You know, I told you I didn't have the cojones to sell here, but you get the warning sign here, the big retest, bearish divergence, boom, perfect drop down, beautiful trade. So for me, I love it. Back tested it, and it makes more sense just for me as a trader. Everything is personal, right, in trading. So for me, find what works for you. Find what trading style works for you. What's your personality? For me, I'm not a scalper. I'm an intraday trader. I can swing trade, but I'm not as comfortable holding trades while I sleep. So I enjoy getting in and out of my trades and paying myself early. As you trade more, you get to learn yourself more on what's your kind of criteria and what you look for and what works with your vision, right? With your eye. What I like price action. I like momentum waves. I like oscillators. So I think it's all personal, but for me, that's kind of why I use this one instead, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. I always say that you should be relating to whatever you already know, because, I mean, there's no point for you to just teach in whatever you already have gone through the process of learning and you already have a feel for it. You're just completely teaching it and start all over again when you can start combining it and making it much better. Like, for example, absolutely, I used to have my woodworking shop in here, right?
No way.
So, yeah, really. Nice. So, I mean, when I look at tools, I usually relate to sharper tools, right? And I imagine, like, for example, a blacksmith, when he's looking at tools, he's going to be relating more to a hammer or contundent related tools, right? So what we are used to, what we handle better, so therefore adding to our knowledge to make it much better. So let's go to my chart. Let's take a look at Rune and then wrap it up with a prime screener, because we're talking about today about the prime screener, and I want to also give a little bit of insight on that. Let's take a look at Carpenter logo. Nice, love it. Shout out
to 27. I think I got my journeyman certificate right beside me. 1 second.
Absolutely.
United Brothers, Brotherhood of Carpenters. I don't know if you can.
Now we can. Nice. Awesome.
Oh,
awesome.
Man. 12 years of swinging the hammer, trying to get free, right? That's the one.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Love it. I mean, I always was scared of the power tools, you know, like that how do you call that? The big table with a huge rotating disc. How do you call it in English? Table saw. Yeah. That was always the most scariest to me.
For me, you just grow industrial formwork. So I threw up like 70-story high-rise buildings in Toronto. Like I would do big, huge stories. So I've built skyscrapers and stuff, flying tables and throwing up big columns and stuff like that. So, but for me, it was like my body is sore after 13 years of being a carpenter. I spent the last 3 years diving into the charts and trying to break out of that, you know, the tradesman and going to work and swinging a hammer all day. And luckily this year, my trading has now surpassed a point where I'm profitable enough to not have to go to work anymore. So it's been a life-changing dream of mine, and I'm doing it now, right? So it's been amazing.
That's amazing. Very close to my own personal story. I'm an architect. I built, and then out of like just love went to car to have my woodworking shop, and then I started building chairs and tables just for the fun of it, and also to be able to design my own style and then selling it. And then when everything struck the wrong way, well, then I had nothing to lose. I jumped into trading, find out that geometry for me was a big thing, and I could relate to it in charts. And then based on geometry, I was able to start becoming profitable, and then so on and so forth. So yeah, I mean, I'm also trading right now. Yeah, thank you. So let's jump into Rune because we're running out of timing here. All right, so since that we did have a trade, in fact, we were hoping for that, or we were expecting for that little range. Look at that beautiful. Yeah, a little bit of that spaghetti. I'm gonna be clearing this up though. So yes. So I am below the zero line in here. It seems like I was looking for a breakthrough. So taking profits right here. And as I see it breaking through, well, then moving my stop to entry. This is all news. We already have taken profits of this trade, just so you know. So let me remove that spaghetti and go to the latest version. All right. So it seems like, let me see what I got here. All right. My tuning, it should be 43 here. So that's why I'm seeing a little bit of a different thing here. Let's wait for that one to load. That is my personal tuning. And there we go. Much better. So it's not about the breakout. It's about the retest. Seems like we're going for the retest. Very important. We could be forming a head and shoulders in here. Why? Because we have huge support on the 4 hour and we are still below the zero line. What's going to be defining whether this strong downtrend signal plays out or it changed phase will be, oh, you know what? Yep. That was it. Plays out or not will be the breakthrough on that. Yeah, I was inverted. I was looking at another chart and I forgot. Yeah, and I actually we talked about that. Hey guys, do not make that mistake. And I'm, yeah, I mean, it seems like I'm doing it. Still, that's the same kind of like analysis. The only thing that changes in here is the breakthrough on that either to the upside or to the downside. So instead of bouncing back down here, which is still possible because we are below the zero line. If I see the dynamic vector breaking through, then I am expecting to make a breakthrough and retest, and off we go. So again, plan A and plan B, we have a strong signal here. It's not about the breakout, it's about the retest. I want to see rejection at this zone. So let me clear the spaghetti. It's already going too far. So same analysis. If I'm looking for rejection on the zero line for short or breakthrough, and then retest going into this section here for a retest, and then another bounce or flip of the ribbon at support for a continuation on Rune 4 hours. Be careful because daily it's also looking like we could be making a dead cat bounce, especially because I see those very nice head and shoulders lines kind of like a playing out. So far will be like that, but based on where I see the resistance, I would say that maybe we have a little bit more to go and then going back down. So, and this is speculation. This is complete speculation. This is what I'll be looking just based on the timing that I have here. All right, guys. So I could be looking at that OC beat trading like the Inception movie. Amazing short call for Rune last night. Thank you, brother. So let's also move now as a wrapped up. We have a couple of minutes. Let's take a look at the prime screener here. So, guys, this is very important because the prime screener is going to be changing depending on a couple of settings, all right? So I'm going to go to the 4 hour because that is my preferred time frame, and I already have gone through the process of finding my best tuning here, which is 43. You can use it as a reference. Just make sure that you go through the process of finding your own. If you are on stocks, use your stocks tuning. If you're on crypto, use your crypto tuning, so on and so forth. All right. So for me, generally speaking, 43 is a good midterm in all crypto and most of Forex. All right. So on the 4 hour time frame. So I'm going to stick with that. So I'm going to be double clicking on my prime screener here. And as you can see, my tuning is set for 43. Look back period are 10 candles. So I want to see from the point I'm here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And for that to tell me what do I have, all right? If I have maybe a candle reversal or a candle pattern, a reversal within those 10 candles. Also, if I have a double check marks, one check mark, so on and so forth. So that way I could be looking at a quick analysis. So like, for example, let's take a look at here, Rune, and compare it to what I got. I have Rune, sell signal. Look at that, sell signal, pretty much. Bearish because I'm below dynamic reactor. Look at that, reactor select. So I am bearish. So I'm looking for maybe a possible re-entry on a pullback for a bearish scenario, all right? And then do I have any candle structure? No. Do I have any reversals? No so far. So that's when I go here and start looking for those ones. So now, like for example, another one that could be bearish just from the looks of it, it is Link. Why? Because look at Link. I have a buy signal. Yes, I'm kind of like a bullish on that side, all right? But I had two ticks, two take profits ticks in there, which is telling me that I'm close to a possible reversal, all right? And then I also have a bearish signal. So what's happening? It's not bearish signal. So I'm bearish because I'm below the dynamic reactor. So let's go to Link and see what we have there. So Link USD, let's take a look at this one. And here we go. So let's compare it to our first analysis. Remember, I'm mostly bearish on Link because I am below dynamic reactor and my prime screener told me so. So let's wait for that prime screener to load. And let's see, click OK. Let's give it 1 second here. And pretty much we have, okay, Link USDT. So Link US, well, it's US United States dollar. So it should be the other one, but this is good enough. All right. So I think we're going to stick to that one. So what's happening? I have a buy signal. So I have already two taking profits. I'm looking for a possible reversal. I'm bearish. So I'm below the dynamic reactor. And it's not about the breakout, guys. It is about what I have or where do I have my confluence. So as you can see, but just by looking at my screener, I knew I could be looking for a possible exactly retest. And there we go. So we are below, the zero line. So what am I looking for? A retest, FOR, right? Here below the zero line, rejection of my confluence and entering for the short, not financial advice. Or, yeah, exactly. Or a breakthrough the ribbon, break back inside my pattern, and that will give me a ton of free space. So I need to add maybe an alert somewhere around here. Let's add it so I can reanalyze what's happening at that point where the price gets there. So, Alex, do you have something that you would like to add before we call out the session?
I'm just very grateful to everybody here and to you. Thank you for inviting me on. I'm here anytime. Just make sure to practice good risk management. Pay yourself early. Be careful. Don't FOMO in. I think a lot of the time it's nice to have beautiful signals and beautiful charts and all those things. But at the end of the day, if you can manage your risk, not over leverage yourself, and practice some good risk management and healthy mindset and create those good habits, that's what will separate you from the pack. Remember, you're competing against everybody and you're competing against yourself. So for me, the biggest change has always been risk management, managing my risk, making sure I'm being patient, paying myself early, and also being kind to myself and knowing that this is a long-term game. Okay, this is a long-term game, so stick to it, trust the TA, but also be kind to yourself. So thanks for having me on, OC. I appreciate it.
Alex, I appreciate a ton of accepting that invitation. It is always so fun to get you on board. So I'll also be contacting you in case you want to and you can't to be joining us regularly. That'll be such an honor. Thank you so much. Guys, thank you guys so much for being here today. Let's please send a very nice thumbs up to Alex L Crypto for taking the time to share his experience, also his analysis, and what he's looking on his personal side and also with his community and sharing. Remember, sharing is caring. So guys, thank you so much. As always, guys, see you tomorrow.